Every day, a cancer diagnosis changes someone's life forever. And according to new research, it's being said more often to young people with colon cancer.
Blake Eason spoke exclusively with two sisters who lost their mother years before she could have ever qualified for a colonoscopy. It's a procedure that could have caught the cancer before it was too late.
It's a loss that we'll never heal from.
Two sisters, Alina Friez and Yaslin Torres, share this one thing in common. Losing their mother to colorectal cancer at the age of 44.
My mom was a very happy, energetic, full of life, very loving. She had a big heart, strong person.
Alina says her mom's life revolved around her, her sister, and her brother.
She was a single mom, something that she was proud of.
Tables turned when they suddenly had to now take care of their mom when a stubborn cough wouldn't go away, never imagining this would be cancer.
That was like the last thing we would have thought that was wrong.
The cough led to abdominal pain. This led to testing, then the diagnosis, stage 4 colorectal cancer at the age of 42.
That's when they told us that her organs were failing her and the cancer had spread and there was nothing else that they could do.
At the time of Arlena's diagnosis, the national age recommendation for colonoscopy was 50. It's since been lowered to 45 as doctors remain mystified as to why this cancer is rising, especially in young people. This leading to a dire warning. Youth-onset colorectal cancer could be the deadliest cancer in just 5 years.
Is that unsettling, knowing that you can't exactly pinpoint why it's rising in young people?
There's a lot of things, particularly in cancer, that we don't know. You get used to uncertainties, and this is one of the many uncertainties. It is a little bit unsettling.
Dr. Bill Hall, professor and chair of Department of Radiation Oncology at Froedtert, is aware of the alarming new reality.
I've been treating patients with rectal cancer particularly for over a decade, and I'm seeing younger and younger patients in my clinical practice come in with, in many cases, advanced rectal cancers.
A new study in the JAMA Journal says of the 8 cancers recently studied, colorectal and endometrial showed increases in deaths, and now it's striking sooner. Since 1994, colon cancer cases in people under the age of 50 have increased by 51%.
We really don't have a super clear understanding.
One theory, food additives consumed more often in young people. Another theory, antibiotics. Hall says some of these drugs could alter the microbiome and negatively impact the development of cancer.
I wish I could tell you with certainty why are we seeing this.
Even with a life-changing diagnosis, Hall says there is still hope.
Many of these patients that are diagnosed early have a very good prognosis.
The U.S. Preventative Task Force recommends getting a colonoscopy at the age of 45. Alina and Yaslin believe it should be younger. Hall says it's not that simple.
One of the biggest things that we have to focus on is the risk-benefit ratio of performing any medical test.
Hall recommends creating habits that could lower your chances altogether.
If we could just get patients to eat well,
or simply moving your body a few minutes a few times a week.
Exercise is just an incredibly powerful tool that we're just beginning to understand its benefits on cancer prevention.
Arlene is strong on your t-shirt. When folks see that, what do you hope they take away from it?
I would say just really enjoying life. The back of our shirts say always live life to the fullest with a smile.
And to keep their mother's memory alive.
And I think that really encompasses our mom's final years and final moments.
Great story. Blake joins us on set now. Great information there. Blake, are there any warning signs that doctors say that we should pay attention to?
Yeah, so this was certainly a big part of our conversation. So there are really 3 big things that you're going to want to pay attention to. The first is going to be sudden weight loss, unexplained without trying. Anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, that is certainly not normal. Changes in bowel movements and blood in the stool. These are certainly difficult conversations. No one wants to have these conversations publicly, but it is something that could ultimately save your life. Above all, Dr. Hall was saying the biggest thing you can do is to listen to your body. If something feels off, it's better to bring that up to your primary care doctor sooner rather than later.
Great advice. Thanks so much, Blake.
You bet.